Okay, so I'm CammyG, and the Boombo came out, and I have already leveled it up to 130 full legendary perks. Because I've been farming endurance and war games, that sort of thing, I managed to get all the, the stuff that we need for it. So I'm just going to talk about the perks for a second, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So if you want to go straight to the gameplay, just go to the time on the screen now. But yeah, I'll just go over the perks first. So what I went for is, as you can see, all damage. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some of you like, but White Sushi said that crit builds are always better than damage. Yeah, well, you know what? Crit builds are better than damage builds, confirmed if you're using a gun like the Bobcat or Pain Train, something that is high fire rate, high magazine size, not something that has a magazine size of 1. Now, yeah, the fire rate's 9, but that's irrelevant when it comes to a single shot weapon, because the fire rate is how fast you can shoot the next shot, but because it only has one shot in the magazine, the only thing that's going to matter is reload time. So, if we did a crit build, and we're up against a husk, our base damage is going to be so low that if we don't crit when we shoot the husk, it is not going to die, and if we do crit, then it will die in one shot, and then if the first one doesn't crit and the second one does or doesn't, it's probably going to die in 2 shots. So in that scenario, it's either a 2-shot kill if the first one doesn't crit, or a 1-shot kill if the first one does crit. Now, the same scenario, but we're using all damage. Because all of the bullets are a higher damage, the thing dies in 1 shot anyway. So, no matter what the situation, it's a 1-shot kill. So that's why, for this type of weapon, like snipers, because it is a sniper, it's classed as a sniper, crit build is not actually better. You can still make it crit if you really want, if you really want to make it crit, go ahead, I can't stop you. The only way I could see crit being any sort of better would be if you're up against a smasher, because it'll take, a fair few shots to kill it anyway, so you're probably going to crit a few times. But with normal husks, normal missions, the general use you're going to use it for, you're going to want it all damage. Now, you can also put on damage to afflicted or damage to mini-bosses and mist monsters. Now, the reason I didn't put either of those on, I'll do affliction first. So damage to affliction goes up to, I think it's like 45% if it's gold, which means that we get an extra 15% damage on top of the base damage, not on top of what we have now. So bear that in mind, that it's going to be less anyway. So if our damage is, a little bit higher to afflicted targets, but then because we don't have that damage perk, our base damage is going to be lower, that means that our first shot, which will kill more stuff, is going to do less damage, which means it might not kill everything in first shot, and then our second shot, because they've become afflicted, will be higher, only slightly higher than the first shot would be, and so it's not actually effective to use damage to afflicted. The only situation where damage to afflicted is better on this is if you're solely using it against mist monsters. Same sort of situation with a crit build. If you're solely using it to kill the blasters and, smashers, then yeah, put damage to afflicted on if you want. The same situation with the damage to mist monsters and bosses. If you're solely going to be using this to defeat smashers and, blasters, mini-bosses in general, that's the perk you want. But because I'm using it for everything, I want it to be a weapon that's not just, locked until I need to kill a mist monster. I want to be able to use it on everything effectively. I went for all damage, because even with the mist monsters, if you use that perk, it only goes up to plus 45 instead of 30, so you're not even getting that much better, and that limits the bonus just to mist monsters. So I know that took a while to go over the perks there, but I just wanted to make it clear, because I see a lot of people with this, and they made it crit builds, and they've put damage to afflicted, and it's just not, honestly, it's not effective. I'm sure you could actually do the math and work out that it's not effective. I really can't be bothered. I just know for a fact that it's not effective unless you're going to be solely using it against mist monsters like smashers. So I'm going to do a power level 88 destroy the encampments mission solo, so obviously on my own. There'll be no team boosts or anything like that. Now, I went for one that didn't have healing death burst or exploding death burst, just because that's going to mess with the test, really. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to test or compare a full damage perk loadout Boombo 106 versus a crit build, which consists of 1 crit rating, 2 crit damage, and 1 damage perk. So we'll see which one does better. Let's get one of these crafted as well. So this is a damage one in the first slot, the crit one in the second slot. So I'll put on screen which one. I'm using at at an individual time. Like I'll just put the text above the gameplay, just so you don't have to keep looking down and remembering which one was damage, which one was crit. I'll just say again, the left one's damage and the right one is crit, but again, I will write on the screen anyway, so don't worry about that. Alright, so we'll start with the damage. Somehow that didn't hit the right one. That was pretty bad as well. Alright, so massive... Okay, so groups of them, it takes them all out in one hit. Again, these are 88. I kind of wanted to test it on higher level stuff, but there were no higher encampment missions that didn't have healing death burst or exploding death burst. Alright, so second encampment, we're going to use the crit bow this time and see if there are any changes, anything like that. Those two died in one hit. Massive crowds. Ooh, some of them did not die in one hit, as you saw, because it didn't crit, it didn't do enough damage to kill them. Oh, everything's blowing up. The crits are doing a lot of damage, though, to be fair. I haven't... Oh! Mist monsters and stuff. I haven't been able to test the damage one on mist monsters or husky husks yet. Only regular stuff. That was pretty bad in terms of the blast radius. Not the perks, but just the blast radius itself. Ooh, that was pretty decent. As you can see... Whoops. As you can see, a 106 is not killing regular husks when it doesn't crit, which is pretty pathetic. But then again, with a crit build, the whole point is, you get them on the crit hit. I don't know if that was a crit. That one definitely looked like a crit. So it took 3 hits with that guy. Husky husks are taking 2 hits generally. Hopefully we'll get some mist monsters, some husky husks on this, so we can test and compare with what we just did. Okay, so it's just regular stuff. In fact, I'll switch to the crit one if it's going to be regular stuff so we can compare. Yeah, as you can see again, the ones that aren't critting are not dying, and it's taking 2 shots for some of them, which is not great. Considering this is a 106 gun, a 106 sniper, it should really be one-hitting regular husks. But it's just something to take into consideration. If you don't mind it not one-shotting when it doesn't crit, then, make it crit. But in the moment... Oh, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. There we go. You see, this guy took barely any damage. The Affliction's doing more than the actual explosive damage did. That's interesting. And by the way, if you are wondering what loadout I'm using, it's just a standard soldier build, really. It's the prehistoric one, and I did make a video on it. So if you want to check that out, check it out. I won't link it or anything, but it's pretty easy to find. We can check the damage on this guy. Ooh! Oops, missed that one. Okay, yeah. Oh. I messed that shot up a bit. So 3 hits with the crit, 3 hits with the regular damage for the mist monster there. They died. Oops. It seems like if you hit someone on the very edge of the explosive radius, it just does like, a minuscule damage. Which I feel like I've seen more with the crit build, and I don't want that to skew, my view of how the crit performs.
There it is.
Right, so if this is Mist Monsters and Husky... Yeah, okay, we're good. Let's test it on these guys. So that's... Oh! That's insane damage, man. I think I missed that guy. Oh my god. This is insane. Just gonna get rid of some of the smaller ones like that. In fact, that actually killed some of the bigger ones, but oh well. We've got a blaster again. Let's see. 1 shot. 2 shot. It killed him in 2, which is what would happen if we crit twice, I think. So not really too much advantage with the crit build over the damage build for that. But I haven't extensively tested it, to be fair. Husky Husk, 2 hits I think. Yep, 2 hits to kill. Shielder, let's try and get them both. I got the left one, not the right one. Ooh, and the Affliction took him out, so 2 hits. Ah! Stop! Okay, 2 hits. Regular Husks, 1 hit. Ah! Yeet. Okay. I'm gonna blow that guy up. Some free damage, innit? I want to try and get this shielder guy. It's quite hard to get them. That did quite a lot of damage, to be fair. Oh, nice, killed him. That killed that guy. Wow, that got a lot of them. And then this guy, shoot him in the face. Alright, well, so far, I'm still going to keep testing it on probably one more using the crit just to test again. But so far it seems like the damage is better. Now, when it comes to the blasters, we 3-shot it with a crit, 3-shot it with a damage. We also 2-shot it with a damage. I haven't seen a 2-shot with a crit yet. That could happen, you know, if we crit twice, which isn't actually likely. The chances of critting twice in a row are about, let's see, it's 38% each, so it's... the chances are slim. Like, it's going to be like 1 in 9 that we crit twice in a row, something like that. 1 in 8, so that's about 12.5% that you'll crit twice in a row. So for that to happen, basically, is what you want if you want to kill a blaster in 2 with a crit build, whereas with a damaged one it killed in 2 anyway. As long as you got a headshot anyway, that is. But I was aiming for headshots with the crit build as well. But the tests do speak louder than the actual, you know, percentages and everything. Now, I think the damage is better if you're going into a lower zone. Like, obviously, I'm against 88 level enemies here. And with that, a damage build is going to be better because it will kill everything in 1 hit. You know, the smaller ones anyway, as you can see here. Oh wait, this is a crit build, never mind. Seems to be killing everything in 1 hit. Oh, no, it didn't there. It is pretty good against... Oh, that does massive damage when it crits. It honestly does so much damage when it crits. It's hard to say, you know, if one build's better than the other. It honestly depends on where you're using it, what you're using it against, what build you're using. All these factors come into play. Oh my god! Lol. I'm pretty sure that guy was full health. I don't know. Oh, this is crazy. Yeet. Ow.
10 minutes left. Stay the course.
It's really fun to use though, so if you haven't got it yet, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's got it at this point, surely, by the time this video's out. If you haven't, you know, get them quests done. Oh, this is really weak when it doesn't crit though. But when it does, you know, obviously it does massive damage. Is that the end of the thing? No, there's another one. I'm just going to put a turret out just so it goes faster because I want to talk for a second here. So basically, if you're going to be using it and your majority of the time using it, you know, in general, in a general mission, not a specific mission, anything like that, then you want to make it all damage, as well as if you're using it in, you know, like lower zones, you want to make it all damage. Now, the crit build shines when you're using it as, say, the weapon you use to take out mist monsters, the weapon you use to take out husky husks, you know, a weapon that you're going to use in a 144 times mission. You definitely want a crit build at that point. So again, like I said, it depends on what you're going to be using it for and what situations. So if you have a build that I think it's Rabid Ranger Jonesy, something like that, Rabbit something, I don't know. I don't think I have it, but basically he increases sniper rifle crit damage. Now, if you're going to use that soldier, then, you know, 100% you are going to want to make this a crit build, obviously, because that soldier buffs crit damage. Now, the soldier build that I use benefits on just damage mostly. So the reason I'm making mine all damage, I think, I haven't decided yet fully. I made it damage at first, switched to crit, and I might switch back. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, that's the reason I made mine damage in the first place, is because my builds are all built around, you know, just like damage, rather than any sort of crit builds. And for me personally, I think that's better, because when you go to do a crit build, you generally can only build it for one type of weapon. Like, you might get an assault rifle crit damage hero, or a sniper rifle crit damage hero like for this, or a sword crit damage hero, or a hardware crit damage hero, you know? Whereas when I go for a damage build that uses stuff like when you reload, damage increases, you know, the actual supports that I have where it adds a percentage of current health to the next damage, that sort of thing, that's really built towards just normal damage, not crit damage. And I can use any weapon that I made damage with that, you know, rather than having to use a specific weapon. I don't know if that came out as making sense or not, but
If you keep pushing on,
yeah.
we might clear the zone.
So yeah, you've got to see some gameplay. My opinion is that in general, I think that all damage one is better, but if you're going to be using this solely in really high level missions, I think you should make it 130. But I don't actually think this is good for high level missions, because it doesn't kill stuff fast enough. Like, if you're in a high level mission, you're going to get demolished by the thing that's hitting you, because you're shooting quite slowly, if you know what I mean. Whereas if you're using like a sniper, you know, like a proper, like an obliterator or a bundle bus, you're going to kill it in 1 or 2 bursts, whereas this thing's going to take a couple of shots against those high level stuff, at which point they're going to have demolished you, because they're power level, what, 166 enemies or something. So it's just going to take your health down. But yeah, it's completely up to you. If you generally go for crit builds instead of damage builds, then, you know, stick with what you do, I guess. It'll probably be better for you because you're used to crit builds, and that's the way you build your hero loadouts. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the, you know, me voicing my opinions. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to see the future videos, and I will see you in the next one.